Dirt Track is in the house. How are you guys doing? We will wait for others to join. I've got a whole list of goodies I wanted to go through and get y'all's opinions on and talk about some things, let y'all know some things that I found out. And, we'll give it a couple minutes because it's just now 7 o'clock. We got a little Evan Williams, bottled and bond. Cheers, everyone. Hope y'all are all doing good. All right, let's see who else is jumping in. We had 5, we had 7. So there's Rich B in the house. Hello, MZ, how are you? Dexter's in the house. Give it a couple minutes, do a little greeting for everybody and let people jump in. Yeah, I got a whole list of goodies that I want to let y'all be aware of if you don't know, and then also we can discuss them. And I had an incident happen. Actually, 2. One was kind of weird, and one, I don't know. I think something creepy was about to happen, but I might have mixed it up or, changed it up a bit for these people. So we'll talk about that. Oh, I did have one more note here I needed to write down. Anything new and exciting with you guys and ladies, if we have any in here? DB is in the house. He is my top sponsor of the rerun crew. DB, are you with us tonight, or you got to bail? So just let me know. Did your wife get to shoot the 5.7 yet? No, not yet. But we're going to get into that too. Well, we'll just go ahead and get into it now since you're asking, Dexter. I did get the 5.7 out. I played with it, and all that stuff, and I was going to go shoot. Then freaking had a, customer had a fire deal, or issue, so I had to jump on that. And I was going to sneak out and go shoot, and I didn't get to. However, I will be off next week. I'm taking off the whole week. I've got a bunch of time to burn, so I'm going to be taking off all next week. And we'll be doing some shooting. My wife's going to be off as well. And, or off some, I don't know how much. She owns her own business. But anyway, we're going to make it a point, and I'm going to take her to go shoot the 5.7. So, because I want to get her input on that gun. So, and I do have a video coming out on the, been going since 4 a.m. Damn. Hello, Lee. How are you? So that is going to be happening for sure. And I kind of did a little video on it. I filmed 4 videos. And y'all saw one of them. I know Rich B saw it. And, it's kind of the CZ Shadow 2 versus the CZ Shadow full size. Just my thoughts on it, how it's underrated. And so if you haven't seen that video, it didn't get very many views. So I don't know. It's probably, the algorithm's probably pulling it down, because when I listed those videos, 3 out of the 4 were instantly demonetized by YouTube. So I had to set them up for review and all that other crap. And believe it or not, they finally monetized all 4. So I'm just going to release them, kind of trickle them out. But I did put that one out. So Rich B says, just ordered the Rock, my first 5.7. Cool, man. I mean, I really like mine. It's a great shooting gun for the price. It was really hard to beat. Plus, I got the 10 mag deal, back when they had those. And there's something I added to mine that I really like. So, maybe some people won't, some people will. Yep, Dirt Track, I got it right here. I'll show you my list. It's right there. And Dirt Track brought it up, so we'll go ahead and bring it up. The Glock V series, yep, they've already got a switch for it. I knew that wouldn't take long. And remember, if you marked my words, I said, I guarantee you somebody will have a switch out within a week or two when I said that. And hell, what's the gun been out for? I guess they announced it like, what, a month ago? But I think it's like been in the stores for like a week and they already got one. So, but supposedly what I've heard with the addition of it, the light switch, that it is full only. You can't switch it back and forth, supposedly. So I don't know if that's true. What's up, Pranic? How are you? So yeah, it took them like a week, which I'm telling you, if you tell somebody you can't do something or you can't make something, what are they going to do? They're going to do it for spite. That's like when people used to tell me, like on a car or something, oh, you can't fix this. It's unfixable. I'd fix it. What's up, U.S. Navy vet? Let's see here. Hello, live chat. YouTube removed your channel from my subscription list. Well, maybe that's why I'm not getting very many views on that channel. A lot of people, when I put that video out, the latest video I just released, yesterday, I already had friends of mine saying, man, I never got told about it. So I don't know. You beat me to it, Big J. Yeah. I love when people say you can't fix this or you can't blah, blah, blah. I love it. Because I'm like, I'll fix the damn thing. Matter of fact, way, way back in the day when the Vipers were out, we had a guy that was racing one and it was race ready. I mean, that's what they made the Viper for. And he was racing it in SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, if y'all don't know what that means. And he was taking corners and the oil pressure was dropping really bad. And, Chrysler at the time, or Mopar, was saying, oh, there's no problem, there's no problem. And anyway, I dropped the oil pan on it, and they didn't do the extra pickup for the oil pump. So I said, yeah, you're starving the damn engine. So they had lost a couple of engines, not on this car, but they had lost a couple of engines when I talked to the engineers. And I was talking to them about it, and I said, why'd you put baffles in this thing like you did? You're starving the fucking engine. Excuse my language. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, look at this. You're starving the damn engine. So they would go into a really high turn, like a real, angled turn. All the oil would pull away from the oil pump and it would starve the freaking engines. And I'm like, good Lord, man. I'm like, you freaking idiots. So anyway, after I was on the phone with them with Star Parts and all that other stuff, going over everything with them, they were like, oh shit, you're right. And they redesigned an oil pan and kicked it out pretty quick. And it was like a recall, but not a recall. It was just notifications to whoever had a Viper to come in, and they would change the oil pan on the car. It came with an oil pan and a new gasket. And they listed it as a upgrade or modification. But it was only if you were racing it, like doing crazy turns. If you're just going in a straight line, you'd be good to go. Yep. Banking oil pump couldn't pump. Yep. American companies never think about turning. Well, if y'all all follow this, Vipers are not known for their cornering like a Corvette. They are not known for that. They're known for straight line. So when you threw it in those crazy positions, even people that did donuts in them would starve the engines, and they didn't know why, but that's why. So that was just one of those things. So yeah, the Glock, light switch, the V series is already out. I did get a notification I wanted to share with y'all from Cloud Defense. If y'all care or remember, they're coming out with a pistol torch, a weapon mounted light for a pistol. It's called the EPL, and I ordered mine on 3/1 of 2025. It was the first day they said, hey, you can pre-order it. But when I got my notification, it was like, hey, you can order it. It didn't say pre-order anywhere on mine. So I ordered it. I was assuming it was going to come pretty quickly. And then one of my friends said, "Hey, did you see that the EPL is out from Cloud Defense?" And I go, "Yeah, I ordered one." And he goes, "Yeah, there's a notification on there that it's not shipping till fall of 2025. And I was like, "What?" And I went back and looked. And yeah, then they put it on there, real big red lettering. "Oh, pre-order, not shipping, blah, blah, blah." They never told me about that when I ordered mine, because I ordered it the second they said it was available. I went in and ordered it. So I guess they hadn't put all that information on the little website yet. But anyway, after 8.5 months, they already took my money, which it is what it is. They are now saying that they're shipping them. So I was like, the first day of ordering on 3/1, when it was available to order. So I should be getting mine, but they say they're finalizing the bills and they should be shipping out sometime this week or next week. So I should have that pretty soon, I'm thinking. Let me catch back up here. Yeah, I remember the Harleys had that issue too. There's actually a lot of cars that had that issue. I think Subaru had it as well. Yeah, that's what the Viper was designed for. And then see, when they came out with the ACR Viper, you know, the racing one, it already had the upgraded pan in it because they figured out it was for Le Mans. So they knew, or the Rolex series, so they knew they were going to have it. Ranger says no optic cut on the V series so far. Reason being the slide is stock that aren't cut. Yep, I agree with that. I've heard people that said they're going to order the V series and then have, you know, like Impact Machine or somebody like that cut it. The ACR test at the ring ended early because of a crash. Yeah. Scott saying, if anybody is interested, Primary Arms has glow-in-the-dark B5 system AR furniture for under $100. Glow-in-the-dark? Wow, that's cool. I haven't seen that, but that would make you stand out like a sore thumb, wouldn't it? I mean, hell, that orange up there is bright like in this blue light crap. But, so there's that. So I did release those, or I did film those videos, so those should be, you know, coming out. Next week, you know, when I'm off, I do plan to go shoot quite a bit. Different guns, not taking 5 or 6 all in one day. You know, I want to take like 2, 2, 2, or 3, 2, whatever. You know, that way I can get a feel for them again. I gave you the list before of the ones that I want to shoot again. So I am planning on doing that. Also, I've got some tools. There's like 2 to 3 tools that I really want to buy. And they've got a special that's going out with Harbor Freight. So I'm going to go by and pick up those 3 next week that I've got on my list to kind of complete the set that I want to do. And I've got a big set already. But I do want to go ahead and load up that toolbox, the new toolbox, move tools from the old toolbox to the new toolbox. So I've got that I want to do next week too. And it'll be good when I've got some time off to kind of get all that done, to go shoot and get the tools organized and move some stuff around in the garage, get some stuff out. Because I do want to start filming in the garage too. I'm setting up an area out there where I can kind of, you know, talk about things and just sit out there and do some, you know, videos as well, especially since it's getting cooler. I think it'd be fun to kind of show some tools and talk about stuff while we're on the chat. So it'll be like a little bench area out there. I already have a bench, a big one that I built, but I'm gonna have another bench out there too. Just kind of set up an area just for something different. So we'll do that as well. We've got 19 on, 10 thumbs up. Hello, Lynn Holt, how are you? Glock Store is cutting V models. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have announced they're cutting V models. Where did Rich B's? Okay. Scott says, I ordered a TX22. It's my first Taurus that I've ever bought. Came with the red dot and 5 mags. Yeah, I love my TX22. That's the only Taurus I have. Is the TX22, so I don't think you're going to regret it. Hello, Desert Armory. How are you doing? Yeah, I know, DB. I meant as it gets cooler in the season. Desert Armory says like and subscribe, folks. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Anyone tried the True Break from CERT? I have not. Have not tried that. Yeah, 85 is cooler than 100. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing good. So we got that, and then the cloud defense, I talked about that. So only at 8.5 months after I gave him my money, now I'm supposed to get it. So we'll see how it is, because I'm interested in seeing it compared to some of the new string lights with the shitload of candela. And then of course the Surefire Turbo, which the string lights already beat it. It's blown it out of the water as far as I'm concerned. But I do like the structure or the build size of the X300. But for lumens, it's really hard to beat that string light. It's kind of their turbo model. I think it's what, the XP or something? I don't remember. I've got videos on it. But I'm curious to see how this cloud defense is going to do and how it's going to look and all that other stuff. So, but I did want to let y'all be aware of another thing that I'm seeing recently. Let's see here. Hello, CZ or ZG. Let's see here. It's a new thing that's supposed to help with trigger pull and muscle memory to pull straight back. I haven't seen that, Dexter. Rich B says PSA has an 11.5-inch carbide 5.56 on sale for a ridiculous price. Atlanta, that's low. Do you think it's junk? I mean, some PSA stuff's not bad. I do like that it's an 11.5-inch, so it would definitely get more dwell time than a 10.5 or a 10. If it's a great price and you want to buy it, they do say they have a lifetime warranty. I've never had to use it with PSA, so I don't know. I just don't have a lot of experience with PSA rifles. I do have some of their lowers, and they seem to be working okay. But if it's a really good price and you want it, shit, buy it. What's up, Turkey's Opinion? How are you? Yeah, and they are going for the economical, like Lynn Holt's saying. Scott saying X300 Turbo Master Race. Yeah, I thought so too. And like I said, I still love the Surefire, don't get me wrong. I really, really like it. But man, that Streamlight, that newer one is, it really surprised me. With the candela and the lumens, I was definitely a believer. And not because they sent it to me, I already bought another one, so. Matter of fact, a lot of the things, when Streamlight sends it out for testing, if I really like it, I'll actually pay and buy another one. I've got they sent me one 7A. I bought two more. One of them is a 7X. They sent me one of the 1,000 lumen 7As. What is it, the PLX or HLX? I bought another one. And, they've got two models of the TLR1s, but one has the high lumen, which is their turbo model. They sent one, I liked it so much I bought another one. So I've got two of those. So, it is what it is. So I'm definitely a believer in them. Otherwise I would have bought another X300 or something like that. And I own 3 X300s. Turkey's Opinion, James Reeves always says every 2011 jams just like 1911s. And I know 1911s can have problems, but not all. I have zero 2011 experience though. I have 4 2011s. And mine don't jam. So I don't know if he's lubed them. They really can't be ran dry, like bone dry. You don't have to squirt shit all over them. Now, I don't know about some of the cheaper ones. They might have those issues. But I do run mine a little wet, lubed. Let's just say that, not to where it slings off on me. That's crazy. I've seen people douse them. You don't have to do that. But if they get dry, they can jam. Or if the extractor is not adjusted properly, they can jam, but it can do that on a 1911 as well. So, but the four I have run great, and I'm not just saying that. I bought them. So, if I like something, DB says, if I like something, I will buy at least 2 guns, 2 shoes, 2 pants, anything, belts, 2 of 1. Yep, I always say that. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Yeah, a lot of the guns that I really like, I have 2 of. Scott says, my Bull Armory has never jammed. James Reeves is just a hack. And like I said, maybe he's running them dry. Some people are like, oh, I just take it right out of the box and I shoot it. You know, if it doesn't run out of the box. He's also a Glock tard, James Reeves, and I'm not knocking him. But if you're used to Glocks, Glocks have tolerances that you could freaking stick a cardboard, you know, big old chunk of cardboard through. They have extreme tolerances to run when they're dirty or when they're gummed up and stuff like that. 1911s, good 1911s and 2011s have much tighter tolerances. So they need lube, and they can't have debris and dirt and gunk like that in them. You know, the tighter tolerance ones. You know, the old 1911s in World War I, those things, you can just take them and they're just I mean, they're all rattled out. So there you go. MZ says, my 1911 only jammed the first 100 rounds, then ran flawlessly. Yeah, and I will say this. What's up, Norwood? I will say this. When I bought my very first, I have bought an Ed Brown and a Les Baer, but when I bought my Les Baer Custom, it was a 45. It was expensive. It was super freaking tight. Super tight. Their break-in tolerance, and it was a card. This was a logged box. It was a special edition. It wasn't a cheap gun, and it said run 1,000 rounds. Keep it lubed, but run 1,000 rounds before you even tear the gun down. So I pulled it back, flipped it over, put the lube in the slide, put the lube in the slide on the front, racked it back and forth, put more lube in it, and then I ran it. And I would keep lubing it, you know, continuously, and I put 1,000 rounds through that thing. Even when I took it apart after 1,000 rounds, it was freaking tight. I mean, that gun was so damn tight. But it was because that's back when Les Baer made really, really good pistols. Now the Les Baers are a little more rattly because a lot of their frames are made in the Philippines now, where they weren't in the past. The Ed Brown, it said, did keep lubed. However, you could clean it after 500 rounds. So, never had any problems with those either. You know, the old 1911s, a lot of them did not like round nose, they liked flat nose. So, but that was a feeding ramp issue. That's pretty much been completely changed over the years. So I don't think you really see that problem anymore. Sponsored by Winchester White Box, yeah. Norwood says those CZs looking good. Yeah, I mean, that video, you know, like I said, I really, really think the Shadow 2 Compact is very, very underrated. And the Shadow 2 full size too, but especially the Compact. Yep, Scott says Glock is the AK of pistols. That is true. I mean, you got a shitload of tolerance in them. And Glocks are great for what they are. But if you're looking at a precision pistol, which James, apparently, I know he loves Glocks. He's maybe not be accustomed to a 1911 or 2011. They can't be ran dry. So, like a Glock can. So, but I did also want to let you be aware, there's been problems popping up with the SIG P211. And what it is the plastic guide rod cover that goes in the front of the pistol that covers the guide rod spring. There's a video, I've actually heard of 2 of these breaking, but this guy does a really good breakdown, and the name of his video, or the name of his channel is Make Ready Shooters Journey. Make Ready Shooters Journey. He only has 553 subscribers, and he is a competitive shooter. And he was shooting it, bang, 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 you know, his new SIG P211 GTO, bang, 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 and the whole slide just locked up. And he was like, what the hell's going on? So he tried to open it at the range, couldn't, got it home, finally broke it apart. When he pulled it apart, the guide rod sleeve that covers the front of the guide rod and the front of the guide was just shattered. It was in pieces. It's made out of plastic. Now, we'll say this. Some of the CZ guns, like the TSO, it had a plastic guide rod sleeve, just like probably what SIG has done. I don't have a SIG, so I don't know this personally. But it was really thick, and mine did crack. It had a little tiny crack in it over the beating that I put through it. This guy says he's only got about 15 to 2,000 rounds. On my TSO, it took probably 3,000 rounds for this thing to get a little crack in it. Well, what I did with it is I put a little bit of super glue on it and, smoothed it down. Never continued cracking. But his just exploded, and he had pieces of it. He called SIG. SIG said, oh, well, let me check and I'll get back with you. So they put him on hold. They checked with somebody, came back. They said, you got to send the gun in. And he said, for a guide rod sleeve, can't you just send me the part? And they said, well, I don't know. I'll have to wait and email you. He never heard back. So then he called back at the end of the day, talked to a different guy that pulled up his serial number, and there was nothing in the computer from the first guy. So they had to re-enter it. And he's still trying to find out. He hasn't got an answer as of that video. So, and that was the last video he put up, I think. So, I don't know, but I heard of another guy's guide rod end doing the same thing. So, Ranger, I know you have one. So please be aware of this, take it apart, look at it, see if you're having any problems with it. Because without this, the gun will not run. He's put it back together, and it will not line up. It pops the spring out and everything, and it is proprietary. So you can't just go buy one. I mean, from another 2011 maker. So if that's going to shut your gun down, that's not good. And then I heard of a trigger issue, a hammer issue already happening with the SIG P211. The hammer was tilting, and it was only hitting half of the firing pin. It was tilting over and hitting it. It was like it was just wiggling around back there, the hammer. So, and I know this was the first year this gun was made. I'm not trying to hammer on SIG. I'm just trying to let people be aware of it so they can look at it and just see if there's maybe doing this, because I don't want you, and probably most people aren't going to carry that gun for like a concealed carry piece. But if they do, I just want you to be aware of it. If you're just out there plowing in competition, it is what it is. That's why if I was shooting a 2011 in competition today, I would take 2 of them. In case one goes down, you got another one. Or if I was running a Glock or CZ, I would carry 2 of them. That's just what I always did when I shot USPSA, and I think that's what most shooters do. But maybe he was shooting the SIG and didn't have another SIG. I don't know. But those are just some things, I wanted people to be aware of. I know Ranger has one, maybe some other people on here have one. And these are just some things that I saw that I wanted to let y'all be aware of. Not hammering on them because it's the first year they've been made. But maybe they want to make that out of aluminum so it doesn't break. Or a lot thicker plastic. I don't know if those are 3D printed. I don't know how they were made. Or even throw an extra one in the box. Because this guy says if he does get one, he's going to ask for 3 of them so he has backups. Because it shut his gun down and he can't do anything. Can't even shoot the damn thing. So. Let's see here. Let me catch back up. Turkey says older Winchester 1911 ammo was flat point, newer fed, yep, 1911s. Is the plastic rod to save money still? Probably. I'm sure it is. But on a $2,300 pistol, and that's the thing about that SIG. Yeah, it's a higher end 2011, but as I understand, some of the parts are still MIM. And I'm not trying to, I know I've got Glocks that have MIM parts, I've got CZs that have MIM parts, but when I buy a 2011, and I've said this, or a 1911, I don't want any MIM shit in it, and I damn sure don't want any plastic shit in it. So, that's just me. Scott, yeah, the world is coming to an end when SIG doesn't have problems. Yep. Scott says both my factory guide rods and my PO1s are both plastic, and one of my guns has 8,000 rounds through it. Yeah, and Scott, even on my PO1s, I changed mine to the stainless steel guide rods. Not saying that I ever had a problem with the plastic ones, because they work, and hell, Glock's had plastic ones forever, and a lot of guns have. But this is the guide rod sleeve, so you've got the metal guide rod in there, and then you got the guide rod spring. It's just a sleeve that goes over the end towards the muzzle end, and that's what shattered. So, you know, and that thing's just bam, 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 just hitting on it, so I guess it just shattered it. But you know how SIG says, we did 50,000 rounds of testing on this gun. It's the most tested 2011 ever made. Yeah, okay. They would have seen that. If they shot 50,000 rounds like they claimed, that damn thing would have shattered. And they would have been like, oh shit, maybe we need an aluminum one. DB says, who buys SIG nowadays? Yeah, and like I said, I'm not hating on anybody. I mean, you know, like I said, it's the first year of this gun. Hello, Armsman. How are you, buddy? Ranger says, I just bought the SIG P211 GTO recently. DB, great gun with zero problems. My first. Yeah, Ranger, I was just telling you that just in case, to check your guide rod cover, just to make sure yours isn't kind of showing some fatigue cracks, because it could splinter like this guy's did. His just shattered. Yeah, Scott says, MEM parts in a competition world would be a no-go for me. I am not a MEM part fan. As y'all remember, SIG hates me from even way back in the day before I even did YouTube with their MEM parts in their 1911s. I had some problems with them. You know, that's what it says, Scott. You know, a lot of people were saying that. I never had a problem with my stainless steel guide rod in my P01. Never had a problem. It never beat it up. It never cracked the frame. It never even put scratches in the frame. Never had a problem. I know it's not recommended, but I never had a problem. I had a lot of rounds. I don't know if I had 8,000, but I had a lot of rounds in mine. Hello, Indy Irish. How are you? He said he went to the range and ran the Kuna with a silencer code through a few drills. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Lynn Hill said, well, there is only one company that does MEM well, Kimber. They've got it down to how to build one without human hands touching it. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, there's a lot of MEM parts in other pistols, like Glock and stuff like that, and even CZ. And I've never had a problem with it. But if I were going to buy a 1911 or a 2011, I would want the EGW kit, the good stuff in it, just so I wouldn't have problems. Arms says, hey, my P320s are super reliable and they detect danger. Yeah, they're super reliable because they're sitting in a safe. You're not running those things. Pranic says, did you use the buffer pads on your TSO? I've always looked at that cover when cleaning. No, I took mine off because I was running them in a competition, and they start to disintegrate, and it throws little pieces of plastic all in your gun. They will actually deteriorate. They'll get beat to a pulp. And I never ran them after that. I took them off because another buddy of mine had one and it jammed his gun during a range session. And mine were already starting to fatigue and I could see the little pieces in there. So I took them off, never ran them again, and never had a problem. Always took them off, threw them in the trash. Don't need them. I know someone that's having a lockback issue with their P211. Yeah, there's little things that are popping up, but again, I'm not beating up SIG. I know it's their first 2011. I'm not, you know, giving them congrats either, but, you know, because they always say, we put 50 or 75,000 rounds through all of our guns. You know, they've always claimed that bullshit. However, we, as the guinea pigs, are usually the ones that find the issue. Yeah, so reliable they shoot even when you don't. Did you see the Facebook group somebody made an SP01X? They took an SP01 frame and had it cut to fit the P01 slide. It's pretty slick. No, I haven't. I don't do Facebook or any of that stuff, so I haven't seen that. Wow, that's pretty cool. Scott says Ruger is the only company that does MEM right. Their frames are ridiculously strong, and it's a MEM frame. That's cool. Yeah, I thought they were cast also, but... Huh. Never know. I thought Ruger was cast. Okay, so we got the SIG P211 GTO. Y'all just, if you've got those guns, just check them. You know, just look them over real good. Make sure none of that's cracking or doing anything weird. Let's see here. And I wanted to ask a question. I need some input from people because I really want to know this. Do you like my lives better or my videos? Like my shooting videos, desktop videos, you know, do y'all like that or do you like the lives better? Just curious. So just say videos, you know, shooting videos, desktop videos, or live videos better. So you can say live or other videos. Just type that in there, which one y'all like best. Live or just regular videos. Just curious if you have to pick one. If you panic, I see that you put both and I appreciate that. But if you have to pick one, which ones do you like better? Just curious. I'm not gonna stop either, but I'm just saying, yeah, I know Norwood's saying all. Lynn's saying all. Okay, and I appreciate that. I'm just, if you have to pick one, live or another, let me know which one, if you have to pick. Chat is always great. Okay, cool. All I know. And I appreciate you guys and ladies, you know, if there's any ladies out there. Also, I wanted to let you know about two situations I had. Arjun said I like the live and desktop. Always good, clear, and well presented. Thank you. If I had to pick one, I will stop following you. Don't do that, Rich B. You and I are the big hand crew. Come on, man. I got to have my big hand brothers in here. Because everybody makes fun of me. They're like, you always talk about your hand size. I'm like, if I don't, then people, like, my hands don't fit because I have big hands. I'm like, it's the only reason I say that. Or people make fun of me because they're like, that gun looks like a micro gun in your hands. And I'm like, kind of is. Two situations I had. One, I took a client out to eat, okay? Not a high-end restaurant, but it was an okay, you know, it was a decent restaurant, decent food. Service sucked. Service was not good. However, the gracious person I am, I still tipped 20%. And I remember the days when it was like 7, 12, 15. Now it's gone 20, 25, 30. You know, it's gone crazy. Okay, so this was a sit-down restaurant, not a to-go place. So we didn't get drinks. I had to ask for drinks. Didn't get menus. Had to ask for menus. Then my client wanted something cooked a special way, which wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't even like he asked for it. So I still tipped 20%. Had it on the table, you know, they took my card, wrote it, laid it there. We were still talking. The person came up and said, oh, can I take that? I said, no problem. She took it. As she picked it up, she looked at it and she looked at me and she goes, oh, only 20%. I looked at her, my customer looked at her. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Excuse my language, but I'm like, that's weird. And she kind of, you know, and let me give you a picture of this. She had different colored hair. She had a fucking cow ring in her nose. Not trying to be rude, but she probably would have eaten both of our plates. And was obviously having a bad day. But after she left, he and I talked, or I didn't say anything. He brought it up. He's like, she sucked. She was horrible. And he goes, you gave her 20%? And I go, yeah, I was just trying to be nice. And he's like, oh, and you've given her 5%. My customer told me that. And I was like, I mean, I try to, be generous. But I'm like, after this, and this is what our whole conversation after this happened. Our whole conversation went into the tipping culture. And he brought this up. And, I already had it in my brain, but he brought it up. And he's like, it's bullshit. He goes, I go get my coffee in the mornings and they want me to tip like $5 on a $7 cup of coffee. He's like, then I go in even to the airport and scan shit myself. And then it's like, do you want to leave a tip? There's no person there. It's just a fucking machine. And I'm like, this is getting crazy. This is getting absolutely crazy. Service absolutely sucked. I mean, food was good, service sucked. And, he's like, well, they only make $2 or $3, an hour. And he's like, I think that's stupid. And I go, yeah, I do too. And he goes, they're expecting us as, the end user to pay their salaries or their wages. And it's not our responsibility. And I'm like, I know, so, because when I went to Europe and overseas and stuff like that, it's like all the gratuities included, and even when it was included, like it, I would say, do I tip on this machine? And they're like, no, it's included, and I mean, I'm like, man, these prices are like really good for extraordinary food. I would still, if they were good, really good service, I would leave a tip on top of what they already added in there. And some of it I would just leave cash on the table. I'm just like, this waiter or waitress was really great, so I left them more money. And I'm just like, is our tipping culture just out of hand? It's just crazy. I'm just like, we're expected to tip 20% on shit service. And I'm like, something's wrong. Something's broke. So, and I'm not cheap. I'm not. I'm very, very gracious. I believe in helping your fellow man. So I definitely tip and I definitely, take care of people. But on shit service, I'm just like, golly, man. And this wasn't a cheap lunch. I think my bill was, for two people, was, I don't know, 70 something dollars, something like that for lunch. But man, I felt like I was, I kind of felt like I was touched in my swimsuit area after that. But it was not good. And I didn't know if y'all had ran into that before. Let's see here. Turkey says, live, I don't understand your guns. Many people don't understand my guns. Now, Pranic does say he has big ass hands. Yeah, Pranic seen me in person. I would have tipped 10%. Yeah, both. Trigger Bar says, howdy y'all. Hello, Trigger Bar. How are you, brother? How to identify liberal. Yeah, but I was in Austin at the time. But man, this just really rubbed me the wrong way. Armstrong says, I personally think of a tip as going out of control these days. Got gas and they want a tip. Order takeout and they want a tip. Go to the grocery store and they want a tip. It's getting worse than taxation. Len Holt says, I ate at an Italian restaurant in Daytona Beach. Great meal and a good time with the folks. Tipped 20%. The waiter followed me to the parking lot. When we left, no, I don't owe you more. Sorry. Scott says, was I wrong? Talk about a sense of entitlement. No, hell no. Talk about what you want to talk about. Nation of entitlement anymore. I don't go out really. I don't enjoy it. No, I thought you nailed it. Oh, well, that explains it. Austin is weird. Yeah, it is. But I was just like, I gave you freaking 20%, And that was like $73, I think, without the 20% that I tipped. I was just talking about the meal. But I mean, I felt like I had been like molested. I mean, it was just like crap. I had to go get our own menus. I had to like beg for water. Also, my client had to ask a different server if he could get a refill on his tea. I mean, it was just really shitty service, and they weren't even that busy. They weren't, and every time I looked back there, they were just standing back there against the wall, laughing and giggling and looking at their phone. And I was like, man, is this a young person thing? I mean, did they just not want to take care of the customer anymore? What's going on? Um, but I just wonder, and I'm not trying to complain or anything like that. I'm just wondering if y'all running into this too. I just wanted to bring it up because it's really been bothering me. And my customer was like, man, you shouldn't even left a tip. And I mean, it was almost like, my customer was mad at me, and I'm like, damn, I don't want him to feel that way. So it was just weird. So, but anyway, I mean, I didn't know if y'all had run into that. Yeah, it was a liberal for sure. And like I said, I'm not trying to, put baby in a corner, but I'm like, wow. Indy Irish says, nope, not tolerating poor service, and my rule of thumb is if I stand in line, no tip. Yeah, and I agree with that. No one wants to work anymore. Yes, it's all the time. Poor service should not be rewarded. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I've got a rule of thumb. If I go in and I'm standing in line to order my meal, I don't tip either. However, I've been suckered into it a couple of times. And then I feel shitty for doing it. But I'm just like, man, I think it's just getting out of control. It's just getting ridiculous. Millennials, yeah, it probably was. I haven't run into it, probably a good thing. I haven't. The older I get, the less I bite my tongue and shut up. Yeah, and I really, after she said that, I really, really, really did want to say something. And also, I'm a member of Yelp. I have the little Yelp app, and that's how I found this place because it was good reviews. And after we left, Yelp popped up and said, do you want to leave a review about the place you just tried? I guess it said, did you try blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to give the name of the restaurant. I don't want y'all to go and bombard them. And I'm not saying y'all would, but you know what I mean. But it said, do you want to leave a review for this place? And I just went in and deleted it. Because I believe in giving reviews for really good products or good service. And if it's good service, I will always leave a review. If y'all ever see any reviews pop up and it says Big Johnson, that's probably me. I do leave reviews when people earn them. But other than that, I kind of don't say anything. And I really felt bad after I deleted it. I was like, man, I probably should leave them a shitty review about that bitch. But, I just left it alone. So I didn't know if y'all were running into that or you had seen it. But I was pretty shocked. So, let's see here. Let me catch back up here real quick. Arms said, there's a small restaurant by me that has great food I normally go to get. If you're not careful, their kiosk automatically charges 20% tip. If it's to go, I charge it no tip. Yep. No, it wasn't Franklin, Scott. No, it wasn't even a barbecue restaurant. No, it wasn't. Because I love barbecue restaurants, and I would have said, oh, they had crappy barbecue or good barbecue, but no, it wasn't Franklin's. Because with Franklin's, you go through a line. This was a sit-down restaurant. If the service is crap, I will ever go back no matter how good the food is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way, MZ. So I will never go back to this place. And the food was decent. I'm not saying it was spectacular. It was, their food was kind of like a Chili's. It had hamburgers and sandwiches and salads and, chips and dips and stuff like that. Was it spectacular? No. But it was okay. So, and like I said, what really sucked is I was there with a customer. If I would have been there by myself, probably would have been different. But, that's where the customer wanted to go. He said he had been there before and it was great food and he liked it. So that's where we went. But it was crappy that, I had to experience it there with him because I felt embarrassed and I don't even work at the fucking place. So it pissed me off. Some of these places just can't find help. I don't think they hire anybody to have, yeah, I agree with you, Rich B. They just want somebody warm and standing there. And I get it. Then I had another situation, and that was this week. It was very weird. Okay, I was driving my company truck, and I was dressed pretty nice. Had a nice watch on. I was in the place by myself, and just getting a sit down, go through the line and get a lunch. So I was sitting there, my little area, just so you know, it was a Chipotle. So I was at a Chipotle, sitting there at the Chipotle, at the little taller desk where you can just sit by yourself because I was by myself. And I was just getting a quick bite to eat, a bowl. I was eating and this guy was standing there and he kept looking at me, kept looking at me, kept looking at me, kept looking at me. And he said, "Man, that's a really nice watch." And I said, "Well, thank you. I appreciate it." And then he left and he sat in his vehicle. And I don't know how he figured it out because I had parked really far away because I'm trying to walk more without a cane. I haven't used a cane. I didn't use a cane all last week. I haven't used one all this week. I've just been walking on my own. So I parked really far away. And my truck is very distinct. So I don't know if he was there and he saw me pull in, but this vehicle, I was sitting there and he sat there for about 10 minutes just looking in the window at me. Then he pulled out and went over and parked beside my truck, the company truck. I was like, this is weird. So I just kept eating. Like, I wonder how long he's going to sit there because I had just started eating and he was getting something to go. So it was in a bag, when he walked out. Because he said, "Nice watch in line." Then he got his stuff. I went and sat down. He walked out the front door. So he sat in the car, in that spot. Then he moved over next to my truck. And I'm like, that's weird. And my truck was far away. No cars were around it. And he parked literally like a parking lot and a half away from my truck, all out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, that's weird. So I finished eating, threw my stuff away, and I was like, he's still there. So I thought, well, maybe he's sitting in his car and he's eating his lunch. That's what I thought. Or that's, what I was assuming. So I walked out, this was the middle of the day. Walked out and I'm just walking to my truck, or hobble or whatever you want to call it. I'm not walking briskly, but I'm walking. As I'm walking to my truck, he's looking through the window at me, at the windshield. He's looking through his windshield at me while I'm walking, and I'm looking at his windshield. This day, I was wearing a poncho shirt, jeans, and shoes. I had just seen a local customer. So I was dressed, nicely, but a little down, and I had my poncho shirt untucked. And he was just looking through the windshield at me, but he wasn't eating his lunch. I couldn't see him eating his lunch. Well, as I walked up, I was closer and closer to my truck. He opened up his door. And then he goes, "Man, that's a nice truck." And I go, "Thank you." And I was probably, 15 yards from my truck, 10 yards from my truck. At first I thought, I didn't hear him right, but, I said, "Oh, thank you." And he got out of his car and started walking to the front of his hood as I was walking to my door. And I turned around at the door and I reached, because he was coming towards my side, and I reached like that. And when he saw my hand go down towards my shirt, He kind of looked up at my face and then he turned around and went back to his car. So I don't know what was about to happen. Y'all tell me. But it was very weird. I never touched it. Never grabbed it. I just took my hand and was going down like that. And that's where I left it. And right as he saw me doing that, he looked at me, he looked at my face, and then he turned around and walked away. This was in the middle of the day in a very well-known area. What do you think? I told my wife about it. I'm like, this was weird. And she goes, I think you were about to be robbed. And I was like, I kind of think that too. Or attempted. So I think when he saw me go like that, he's like, oh shit, this guy's got a gun. Because he had both hands exposed and didn't have anything in them. But, you know, I think he might have been there and saw me kind of, you know, not walking perfectly in there. Maybe saw me not walking perfectly out. And I'm not a small guy. And he was an athletic guy. You know, had an athletic build. So what do you think? And this was in Plano, Texas. I'll just go ahead and tell you. So I thought that was very weird. He was driving a shit car. I do know that. Let's see here. Let me catch up. Some of these places just can't find. I don't think they hire anybody to have a body. Yeah, this Rich B. Okay. Left a poor review at our local Acura dealer. They called and asked me to reconsider. Offered discounts, etc. Told them my integrity is not for sale. I've had that before too, Indy Irish, so you did the right thing. I've had people try to buy me off as well for leaving a poor review. I have left them before. Turkey's opinion says, having multiple businesses, I can say that I hate reviews. 200 happy customers, maybe 2 awesome reviews, canceled out by one turd who has panties in a bunch over whatever. Yeah, and I agree, and that's why I kind of feel bad, you know, because I always think if the server is shit, the restaurant might be great. And I don't want to hurt the business for a shit employee. So that is another reason I sometimes don't ever leave poor reviews. So I agree with you on that, Turkey. My local has started carrying more G-Force Arms 357 actions under $500. Dexter says, yeah, weird for sure. I would think he was planning on robbing you. And then when he saw that you might be carrying, he thought better of it. Rich B said, yep, he was going to try something, no doubt. MZ says the fact that he turned and left, he was definitely up to no good. What was he driving? He was driving, I got his, I already wrote down his license plate number when I got in my vehicle. I did walk around after he drove off. I did not get in the vehicle till he drove off. I waited till he got, I was right there, just standing there with my door propped open, and my door was between me and him. I got behind the door because if I got to shoot through glass, I was prepared to shoot through glass. It was just very weird. You know, but he specifically saw me because I did that before I got behind the door. But he was driving basically like a Hyundai. It was a Hyundai, what was it? Santa Fe. It was an old Hyundai Santa Fe. So he basically, the way I was looking at it, and I looked in the passenger seat. I looked down there and he still had the bag and it was closed. So I thought, okay, he's either doing DoorDash and that was a customer's meal, or he had picked it up from himself and didn't eat it yet, but he had waited in front of the store, then drove over to my truck and waited. So he had been probably watching me walk in and I didn't see him because where I walked in, he wasn't parked there. So that was weird. So I don't know if he parked somewhere else and was watching me and then pulled up to the front to pick it up. I don't know, or maybe his order wasn't ready yet. You know, I thought maybe the order wasn't placed yet because he walked up and you know how those little, like, I don't know, it's those little things where I guess their name's on it and you take it, you know, to go or whatever. So I was thinking, well, maybe his order wasn't ready yet. So that's why he pulled up to the front to pick it up and then drove to my truck. I just thought that was weird. But yeah, he was definitely up to something. But it was a Hyundai Santa Fe, an older one. Arms says probably a fan. I don't think so. Yeah, someone trying to take advantage. Hey, Redbird, how are you? Should have took a picture car with a plate. Yeah, I did write down the plate. I didn't take a picture of it. You know, because here's the thing. I'm not going to walk out with my phone when I'm thinking something's going to happen. You know what I mean? I wanted 2 free hands. I'm not one of those, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be one of those people that are going to take a picture of something happening. I'm going to be that person taking action on something that's going to happen. So I wanted free hands. Didn't have a Coke in my hand. Didn't have anything in my hands. My phone was in my pocket. And I wasn't going to start grabbing for a phone in case he was going to do something weird. I wanted both hands free. So that's why I wasn't worried about taking a picture of his plate, but I looked at it and I was just saying it over and over and over in my head. And so I wrote it down when I got in the truck. In the truck on my center console, I've got a spiral notebook. You know, not a legal pad, but a spiral notebook, and I wrote his license plate down immediately. And the type of car, it was a gray Hyundai Santa Fe. Just in case, you know, he would have started doing something crazy, at least I had that down. Pranick said he had someone approach me and my son on the way into the store. He approached us on the way back. I said, stay away. And he went to the waistline and he was already walking away, yeah. Pranick says people go to Plano because they think all the rich people live there. Yes, you're exactly right. Len Holt says, anyone checked out the new Taylor's and Company revolver PSA selling new this year? I have seen those, but I don't know much about them. I haven't seen one in person, so I don't know. Redbird said, I had a great time at the Fort Worth Stock Show, or Stockyards. That's awesome. I'm glad you had a great time. Yeah, it's a cool place. I've always loved it there, especially when they do the Longhorn Trail ride. That's really cool. Let's go ahead and get that down. Man, that was good. Actually, really liking that Evan Williams. It's bottled in bond. It's not expensive at all. For a big old bottle, I think it was like 27 bucks. It's actually really good stuff. I'm not really drinking the high dollar shit anymore. I think it's kind of overrated. Some of it is anyway. But yeah, that was very weird. You know, so complimented my watch. So I knew what I was wearing and it wasn't a cheap watch. Saw what I was driving. Said nice truck. I'm just like, and something's weird here. I just had that. And I hope y'all get this. If you got that weird spider sense going, something's probably not right. And I definitely had it the whole time because I'm sitting there eating and I'm like, why's that guy just sitting there? You know, even after he said, nice watch, you know, I'm like, why is he still sitting here? It just seemed weird to me. Then when I see him drive and I'm watching him because I'm looking out the front window and he drives over to my truck and then just parks right next to my truck, I'm like, okay, what's that about? And I thought, well, maybe the guy's just sitting way out there enjoying his Chipotle, you know, trying to think the best of everything. But then when I walked out there and he got out of the vehicle to say, nice truck, I'm like, are you stalking me? You know, I'm just like, this is freaking weird. So then when I told my wife, she's like, yep, he was definitely planning something. You know, and I knew what color shirt he was wearing, what color shorts, what his hair looked like. You know, I knew all of that. I got a pretty good memory of that. So it was obviously up to no good. So that is what I'm thinking. But anyway, that was weird. So that's what I was also going to say. Bad shit comes to good areas. So do not think, oh, I live in a nice area, or I shop in a nice area, or I eat in a nice area. All the bad people know about those nice areas. So, and I happened to be in that area because I visited a customer in that area. So, you know, that's what happened. But it was very weird. You know, nothing happened. I walked, after he drove off, I walked around my truck and I was like, okay, do I have an air tag? So I was looking at the obvious places like in your gas door and behind your license plate. You know, I'm like, did he put a tag on it so he'd see where I live? because you got to be aware of that too. Some people start popping air tags on your vehicle. I looked in my fender wells, you know, walked around the whole truck, did not see anything. And then I took my phone and walked around the whole truck because supposedly, I don't know if this is true, y'all will have to tell me if you know, supposedly your phone will say air tag detected. And so I walked around the whole truck real slow and nothing popped up on my phone. And I haven't seen anything since. And that was Monday. So now we're Wednesday. So I don't know. Yeah, Scott said I would have waited on the restaurant to see how long he was going to wait. Yeah, and I don't have time for that shit. I mean, and I thought about that. Should I sit here and wait? But then I was like, well, what if I walk out there and he is just eating his food and he doesn't say a word? Then I'm going to, look like a dumbass. But I just had a weird, I don't know, even though he was nice and said, hey, nice watch, I was like, I don't know. It was I just had a weird feeling. And I guess, everybody says, hey, go by your instincts. And wasn't trying to, say he was going to do something, but it was just weird. Let's see, Pranic says, nice watch, but the gun is nicer. Yeah, that's true. Dexter said, yep, girlfriend had it happen to her luggage when traveling. Yep. Yes, on the AirTag thing. What's up, Links Defense? How are you doing, brother? Unless it's a Samsung AirTag. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how that shit works. I mean, I do put an AirTag, if I ever travel with guns in the gun bag or the gun case, I will put an AirTag in it. So I don't really run a lot of AirTags. And if y'all need any really awesome pistol bags, rifle bags, he just released a new rifle bag. Is Links Defense. USA made, good shit. I have, how many rifle bags and pistol bags do I have? I think I've got 3 pistol bags and like 4 or 5 rifle bags of Links Defense. And some I have bought. But he makes really, really good stuff. So they are not cheap, but you're not getting shit quality. You're getting quality American-made products. So, if you want that, check out Links Defense. And I don't have a normal discount code. I've got a little link. I've got videos if y'all want to go check that out and use the link. That'll help me. I appreciate that. But he makes really good shit. And he opened up his custom bags. So y'all can go in and build a custom bag. And I've got some custom ones. I've got like an orange liner with the midnight camo and the orange template of the Links Defense logo and orange thread, and I've got some tricked out bags and a black bag with orange trim and orange inners. I mean, it's really cool shit. So y'all can go on and make that stuff now if you choose to, and especially right here before Christmas. So if you want something really badass that nobody else has and you can make it your own and stand out like I do with my guns, I would recommend doing that with your bags. Scott says most people don't look at other people's watches carefully enough to realize it's a nice watch or if it's crap. Scott, as a watch guy, that's where I would disagree with you. If I see a guy that has a really nice watch and I know what it is, like an Omega Speedmaster or Rolex, Patek, something like that, I'll say, hey, nice watch. I like to compliment people on nice shoes, nice suit, nice watch, I've always done that because I think it's nice to do that. So I am the guy that does look at watches because I'm a watch guy. I look at guns because I'm a gun guy. I look at cars because I'm a car guy. Somebody's driving a really badass car, I'll say, hey, nice looking car. But this one was just weird. It was, I don't know, it just felt different when he said nice watch. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then it was his look. He just had this look like, I'm going to try to get that. It was just a weird look. It wasn't like, oh, thanks, like a smile or something. It was just weird. So, there you go. Prentice says, Big J got orange. No way. Yes, it was orange. Yes. A guy in an old Santa Faye is not a watch guy. Yeah. Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to profile people, but I agree with you on that. But, like I said, I, you know, I just am going to be saying, watch out, just be aware of your surroundings because this was weird. And I'm like, as I'm walking out to my vehicle, I'm like, okay, is something about to go down? I just had this feeling. It was like, when the hair stands up, I don't even have a bunch of hair on my back, but it's like when your hair stands up on your neck, so to say. You've heard that saying. Something just didn't feel right. So that's where I was going with this. But I was like, if I walk out there and he's just sitting there eating his lunch and I get in my truck and drive off, then I'm a dummy. But that didn't happen. So I was right. Something was weird. So, but I guess if he's coming at me with open hands, he's coming at the wrong person. Because that would have not been a good day for him if he would have persisted. So, but anyway, stuff can happen. Yeah, totally agree on the sixth sense. Yeah, I just have always believed in that. Trust your gut. I've always said that, even in business. I'm like, if something doesn't feel right, trust your gut. My dad always said, never go against your gut feeling. Feels bad, it's bad, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I just had that weird feeling. I was like, something's not right. So, but again, I wasn't going to walk away from it or be in fear and sit in that restaurant for another 30 minutes after I'm done. I just wasn't going to wait it out. I'm just not that guy. I'm like, if shit's about to happen, shit's about to happen. So it is what it is. But anyway, it was just weird. It's just another example. Again, the shirt was ready to go. I never had to draw it. He just saw my hand go down, and that's when he looked at me and spun back around. He didn't say a word. No other exchanges, nothing. Got in the vehicle, and he backed up, drove off. I mean, it was that quick. He's like, whoa, I don't want none of this, I guess. So, because I'm like, man, and I was also, what's crazy, and I can picture this in my head, what's crazy is I was already looking at my backdrop. Are there any people back there? Are there any cars back there? Or is there anything past the point of him? And there was not. There was not. It was completely open. So I'm like, okay, if we gotta get freaky, we're gonna get freaky. So, and yes, if y'all need a great holster, Armsman is your guy. Makes great stuff. And what's up, G23? How are you, brother? And yes, you can use, if you want an Armsman holster, you can use BJGG10. That gets you 10% off and free shipping. Light bearing, non-light bearing, appendix, duty rigs, whatever you want, he usually makes them. So, but yeah, I do have like 3 more videos that I'll be throwing out periodically. So y'all stay tuned for those. If you're not subscribed or YouTube has kicked you off, like I've just found out that some people have been saying, definitely resubscribe. Set your alerts to on or all, and hopefully you'll be seeing those. And again, I'm going to be shooting next week, and I'm going to tell the wife, you have to go with me to shoot the Rock 5.7, because honestly, I'm going to put that gun in her hand. I'm going to let her shoot it. I'm going to let her shoot it non-suppressed and suppressed. And I'm just going to sit back, not say a word, and just say, shoot this. And see I want to see her natural reaction. If she likes it, if she's like, oh shit, or whatever. I want to get everything real. And then we'll report back. But I just really, really want her to shoot that and let me know what she thinks. Alpha Aurora, sir, answer my question. What's your question? So, if it's not a dumb question, I'll answer it. Yeah, re-ask your question. I don't even know what the question was asked. Hopefully it's nothing weird. But anyway, definitely, you are going into the shopping season. So I would have your head on a swivel, not be playing on your phone. Um, yeah, y'all can just launch alpha. I'm not going to tolerate that stupid shit. You're just asking stupid shit. Um, have your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Dumb shit's happening. Yeah, maybe, I'll just, oh, somebody deleted her. Okay. Good deal. Thanks, G23. I was fixing to pop her. But, have your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't be playing on your phone. Just keep your phone in your damn pocket till you get to your vehicle. There's people looking for people who aren't paying attention. And I've reiterated that with my wife recently because she did some shopping. I reiterated that with my daughter. I'm like, don't be talking to your friend that you're shopping with. Don't be playing on your phone. You're to be looking around what the hell's going on. I don't want any stupid shit happening. So, and that's what they're doing now. So, but yeah, I'll get to spend some time with my granddaughter next week. So I'm excited about that. Get to see her. She is eating like yogurt and bananas, smashed up bananas and stuff now, and she's having a good time with that. So it's a blast to watch her, chomp that stuff down. Got a picture today where she's got shit all over her face. She's having a good time, so I'm all about that. So we'll be doing some family stuff next week, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I will be doing a chat next Wednesday. I think Thanksgiving's Thursday, but I haven't dropped off any chats that I know of, so we will keep on that. Gonna be watching some college football this weekend, so always love that. But I appreciate y'all for always being on. I mean, y'all, make this happen, so I really, really appreciate y'all. Also, if you want to see more tool videos, let me know below or after the chat. I've got a lot of tools I do want to talk about that I'm really enjoying. One, not so much. But if y'all want to see some tool reviews, say yes, tool reviews, no tool reviews, whatever y'all, whatever you say. Because I'm going to be setting up that shooting next week. A lot of shooting next week. I want to shoot a lot. G23 says, I'll be at the range on Thanksgiving and possibly live streaming on it on Rumble. Cool. Y'all check out G23. Armson said, yes, I want to see more Pew tools. Yeah. So, but, and I do have some gun reviews coming out where they are tabletops, but I'm going to do some shooting stuff and setting up toolboxes. I had one guy say, why don't you film setting up your whole toolbox? I'm like, do you know how long of a video that would be? Because we were moving shit around. You know how, if you're a tool guy and you've got toolboxes, moving shit around is insane. When you put it in that spot, you're like, oh yeah, that's the place. And then you move it 19 more times. So, I'm just going to be stripping one toolbox, moving it over to another to get that other toolbox out to give it to a friend and his son. So this will be his first toolbox. I'm just going to donate it to him, let him enjoy it. I'll leave some tools in it that I'm just going to get rid of or let him have, because he's a really good friend of mine. I've known him for 25 years. And every time I need something or need help with something, he's always, wants to help. So I'm just going to bless this kid with a toolbox and some tools. I think that's the right thing to do. So, also, I even thought about doing this. I even thought about maybe doing some tool giveaways. Seriously. Buying some tools that I really, really enjoy. I mean, that I'm like, these are the tools that I love. And buying a second set to maybe give away. So, would y'all want some tools? Would you want me to do that? Let me know. If you watch this after, leave it yes, do a tool giveaway. Maybe I'll do that. Like I said, oh, and also, next week I will be going through my other items, and I'm going to be stripping some stuff out of it, giving away some red dots, some flashlights, just a bunch of shit that I don't need. I'm just being honest with you, or I have 2 or 3 of. I'm going to be giving some stuff away. So we'll get a pile and maybe I'll put it in a box. And during a live chat, we'll just pull from the box. And I'll say, guess a number between whatever, and I'll write something down. And if y'all guess the number, whoever guesses the number wins it. And I send that to you. So we might do some stuff like that. But, you know, I look at it like this. All of us can use some tools. All of us can use some accessories, some lights, some red dots, some whatever. So I'm going to start spreading this wealth around. Some of the stuff has been sent to me. And I'm just going to bless other people with it. So I'm not going to hoard it and hang on to shit that I can't use or that I have multiples of. So I'm going to start blessing y'all with some of it, especially around Christmas time. I think around Christmas time, probably the whole month of December, I'm probably going to do a lot of giveaways. I'm just being honest with you, but I'm not going to advertise it. I am not going to advertise it. I am not going to do a video that says sign up and you can win this and you can win that. And I'm not doing that shit. I'm only going to do it on these live chats with the people that are on this live chat. So I'm just letting y'all know, y'all got a really good chance. We've got 19 people on here right now. I could give away 2 or 3 things a night. So y'all got a really good chance of winning some of it. I could use an RMR footprint. I've got some. So I'm going to be giving away some. So, oh, and I did want to say this. I've got a dot I've been testing. And it's a vector optic. And I'm not advertising for them. And there's that if y'all want to see it. And it is called the Frenzy 1x18x22 Gen 2. This thing is freaking awesome. It's an enclosed optic, acro footprint, and I am freaking super impressed with this thing. I took an MPS off, just so you know, I had an MPS that I think cracked. What I think is a bullet bounced off the wall, or a shell casing bounced off the wall and hit the back of this optic and put either a scratch or a crack. I can feel it with my fingernail. So I don't know if it's gone all the way through the glass because I haven't dipped it in water yet. But, well, here's the dot. I've got it under here. No, I have it in my other drawer. But anyway, it has a crack on it. So I don't know if it's a crack or a scratch. But I'm going to be getting with Steiner to see, hey, will you warranty this thing? Because it's still under warranty. But I think a shell casing hit the wall at Texas Gun Experience, bounced off the wall and then hit this thing and scratched it or cracked it. And I want to see if they're going to warranty it because it's right in the freaking dot. So when you're sitting there and you're looking at your target, you can see that scratch or that crack. And I'm just like, man, that's annoying because it's right in the freaking dot line. And it kind of drives me crazy because I'm target focused, but it makes me stare at that freaking crack because I know it's there, or scratch or whatever it is. So I'm going to see if they'll warranty it out. So anyway, I took the Steiner off and put this Vector on there, and I'm super impressed. I mean, I really, really am. So far, I'm really liking that dot. But yeah, we'll give away some stuff because I need to get some shit out of here. You know, and I've given some stuff to some friends. I've been moving some stuff out. But I want to start sharing some stuff with y'all too. So let's see here. I could use a few staccatos. I've got a new Vector on my Canic Rival, surprisingly good. Yeah, I'm not going to give away, you know, pew-pews, but, and I have thought about giving away some rifles. I don't know. I need to get with my son-in-law and see what he wants, what he doesn't want. Maybe I'll give some away. Not saying I will for sure yet. Please don't hold me to it, but who knows? I just need to start cleaning some stuff out, getting rid of some stuff. I am going to be giving away some lock grips for sure. So if you've got CZs, definitely you want to tune in. During Christmas, I will be giving away some lock grips for sure. So if you're a CZ guy, definitely tune in because I need to clean those out. And I'll probably have a bag of them, literally a bag. And we'll just start, you know, getting some of those things to y'all. So it might be y'all email me your your address, and whoever wins will verify it somehow and kick those out to y'all, because I want to start spreading some of this stuff out there. Again, I didn't pay for some of these, so that's why I want to share them with y'all and pass them down. Not going to charge you for them. We're just going to move them out, and I'll pay shipping to get them to you. So we're going to start doing some stuff like that. We're going to be jolly and pretend like we're Santa Claus passing out gifts. So maybe the next chat, hell, maybe Thanksgiving we'll do some stuff. I might pull some shit out and start giving some stuff away. So G23 says I'm size AK4 74. Oh, there's a few people in here that have CZs. Yeah, I love my 97B lock grips. I remember Redbird, you won some way back when. Well, I've got some more 97B lock grips, so maybe you could win some more if you want some more. But anyway, like I said, I want to bless you people with some stuff, because y'all make this shit happen. So I want to share the love. So, but I appreciate y'all so much. It is 8:26. We will go ahead and shut this down. We got 16 people or 18 people on and 23 thumbs up. How's that? That's awesome. Y'all rock. But again, if you watch this after the fact and you are a real subscriber, not somebody who just jumped on here to say some dumb shit about monkeys or whatever. If you're a real subscriber, and you tune into these live chats, I'm only going to do the giveaways on the live chat. I'm not going to do a video again and say, hey, everybody sign up for this. I'm not one of those guys who are looking for views and subscribers and, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go to the OGs, which are y'all. Okay, y'all are the OGs. And we're going to share some love with the OGs, not with freaking, I call them, prize whores, or y'all know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give y'all some love. So, but I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful night. Dexter says, pretty sure we know the names of the regulars. Exactly, Dexter. So if you're a regular, you're going to win something. I'm just going to start passing out stuff. Hopefully y'all have or need some of these items, but I'm telling you, I'm going to set up a box next week and we will start doing it. I've talked about it. I haven't fulfilled it, so please don't be mad at me, but it's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. I try making it to the live stream work when it gets in the way. No, I totally get it. I understand people have lives. I'm not expecting you to be here, but if you happen to be on that live chat and I know you're a regular, you're going to win something. So we're going to start doing it like that. I've got a bunch of shit to give away. So, and it could be some really good shit. It might be a dot, it might be a light, it might be some grips, or it might be something else. So we will make it happen. Lynn Holt says, thank you, Big J. Great topics in chat. Good night, all. Yes, I went over all of my topics. Y'all be safe out there. Love one another. If you haven't, especially with the holiday season coming up with Thanksgiving, check on people. If you haven't checked in with some family members or friends or people that might need you, please do so. Just check in with them, make sure they're okay. Be with your families, love them, talk to them, make sure everybody's good to go. So, but I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Be safe all, and remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone.